Welcome to another episode of GAA Lab with me, Dr. John Murphy. This is a follow-on from the last week where I explained what mass was and helped you create a few sessions. I've gotten so many questions of people who know what it is, know how to work it out, have put together a few sessions, have even trialed a few of them themselves, but are unsure how to use it with a large group, particularly a large group with very different levels of fitness. Because of that, I've created a big Excel file that allows you to divide your players into 3 different groups based on fitness levels and adjust the sessions so that they can all be working at the same time at an intensity that's right for them. We'll jump on the laptop here now so you can see how to use it, how to streamline putting the players in. We talked the last day about fitness testing, so you can just use the fitness test outlined there. There are 10 weeks of fitness sessions with about 2 sessions per week, so 20 sessions overall. And we show in the middle how you can do a retest to adjust your players as they're adapting to various levels of training, because some will adapt a bit quicker, some a bit slower, and how do we manage around that. When you click on the link, it'll bring you to this folder here. You'll see a fairly old video now, more than 6 years ago, of the original attempt I gave at explaining all this. You can go in, look at that, work away to your heart's content. You'll see an option for both Google Sheets and an Excel file that you can use to put all this out. I'm going to work on the Excel file. I'll quickly just go into the Google Sheets one here because there's one important bit that I've got at least 60 emails about. When you go into this first, I can edit it because it is my file on my Google Drive. It won't allow you to edit it when you go in. So many people have sent me requests to edit or whatever the course may be. What you need to do is go up to File, click on Make Copy. And that'll allow you to create your own version in your own Google Drive, and you can give it whatever its name you like. Hopefully that'll save me replying to another 60 emails at some stage over the next while. You'll also see both a Google Slides and a PowerPoint here. There's all the images that are in it. You can use them to adapt this whatever way you like the different ones. They're probably not necessary for you, but they are there. Now I'm going to jump into the Excel file here now. When you open it first, you're going to see this here, and that's giving you your first 1 to 4 weeks of shuttles. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. This will make more sense in a minute once we actually start putting our shuttles and everything together, but that's basically giving an overview. Now, I put in Tuesday and Friday. You can go Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, Thursday, whatever you like. They're just the days I'd put in. And it gives you 2 run sessions a week for 4 weeks with a retest there at the end of the 4 weeks. I'll go into a bit of detail on why that's important now. And you can also see just the distances laid out in a way that you can screenshot and whatever here. The important bit we'll really look at, and we're going to spend a bit of time on today, is this here. And that's our original inputs with the players, and that'll also divide them into their groups. I divide them into, because I have these 3 color cones, a red group, a blue group, and a green group. And the red group would be your fitter group or your faster group. Fast aerobic now, not speed wise, that can change a little bit. Your blue group in the middle, and your green group, your, let's just say, more room to improve group, whatever the case may be like that. Before we jump straight into this, I'm actually going to create a new page and show you how we use that. So I click on this here, and I am going to rename this before I do anything else, our initial underscore inputs. And that's just to help us get organized. So I'm going to go to a column for name, minutes, seconds, and what's going to be important will be here, total seconds. So we'll just put in our first couple of names here, and I will populate this all the way down along. So we've now put in all our names. There are panel members, all the players who turned up and did the test, and now we're going to put in their minutes and seconds. I'll show you why the total S is important now in another second. Now we've input all their times, but if you look at them, you can see they're not in order, because I just wrote down a list of players. They came up to me, gave me their time that they covered their distance in, and I just jotted them all down. Before I go into input them, it's really helpful for me if I have them organized into order. So this is where our total S becomes important. So we're going to put in a little formula now to work out how many seconds it is, and we can order them for us then. So we'll go equals, bracket, bracket. We're going to say minutes multiplied by 60. 1 bracket, we'll say plus. We're going to add it to the seconds here, close our bracket and hit enter. Sorry, yeah, I accept that correction there. I wasn't concentrating enough on that. We get this here and we just use that to drag down everything. That'll now give us the seconds, the total seconds for every player there. To reorder that, we have a handy way that'll actually do the whole column for us. So I drag this down, I go over here to sort and filter, and I go from smallest to largest. It'll ask me, do I want to expand the selection? So that'll pull all of the names into what it is I'm doing. I say sort, and now my players are actually ordered for me. So I go 1, 2, 3, and it's just give me a rough idea, because sometimes the numbers here, I select 1 to 3, I pull that down, that's going to order all my players for me. Now if I jump back into week 0 test here and just count how many, so if I go down as far as here, that's showing me there's the potential here for 8 players in our red group, but I might have more or less. Same my blue group, that gives me the potential for 9, and I think green is the same. I want to actually throw an eye over all these, so I know how many are going to be in each group, so I can set that page up before I just start inputting players. So I'll just have a look. So we go, our quickest here, we have 2 coming in at 430, goes down to 453. So what you're really looking for here is big gaps. So you could either go 430 to 441, which I think I'll do, but I'll check in a second. 450 down as far as, I might bring as far as 518, and then 523 to the end. So I'm actually going to color these here now for me. I select down as 441, and I'm just going to color them in red, so I remember they're my red group. I'm going to do the same here for these. If you wonder who the names are, these are the majority of characters from The Wire. It's not actually a real team or anything like that. I'm going to make them blue, and then my last group are going to be green. You'll see like the last player there, like their time is way slower than the next one. It's just not feasible to create another group for them. Also, they're probably so unfit that they make such big jumps. Like they've probably just done nothing for the last ages. Hence why anything is going to help them jump up to the rest of the group reasonably quickly. Now, back to this. If I look here, there are 10 in this group. But I come across and I look at my red group initially, it only gives me space for 8 players. What you need to do here is jump in somewhere in the middle. So just check this formula for a second. That's including every player from F2 as far as F9. So that's every player from player 1 to player 8. If I come into the middle, hit that line and hit insert, that's going to give me a line here. But if I check the formula input, it's just expanded out the formula, so it still includes every player. If I try and create a new row at either end, it's going to leave it outside that. So I know I need to put 10 players in there, so I need to insert 2 extra rows to give me my 10. So now I just come back here, I grab my players. So we have our first 10, we copy those in here, pop their names in, and that's our players gone in here, and that'll also give me there. I also know this test, so the test is adjustable. I did 140 meters, so I'll put that in for the first 2, and then grab my little corner and pull that all the way down like that, and reformat that, sorry. No bother, that looks better. And we can put in our time. So we know our times were 430, 430, 430, 30. And you just do that for the whole lot of it, and you fill it all the way down along. Same thing for our blue group. So if we check our blue group, we know we have from number 11 as far as 22. So there's 11 players there. And we said there was space for 9. So we'll just pop in. Okay, so once you've got all the names and the distances and the minutes and seconds put in, you'll find there are a few gaps here in some of the formulas. So I'll just make this a little bit smaller so you can see it full screen. If you notice a gap here, so this is working out our total seconds for us. If you just select a couple above that and pull it all the way down, that's going to input that formula for you. So I'll do the same here and just pull that all the way down along. So that gives us our seconds. It's looking for our actual mass here as well, which is the most important number we're looking for. And the average mass, this shouldn't change. So that's for the whole team. That's really just for the graphs. The actual average mass of the whole team is not a hugely important number. If I check my last video, you'll know that we can also work this out in kilometers per hour. This can be useful because when we say high speed running, if any have access to GPS and you're checking the high speed run there, high speed running is anything that's 17 kilometers an hour or quicker. So if you're doing your test for mass and your average kilometers per hour pace in that, or speed in that, is 17 or faster, you know that they're working somewhat aerobically when doing high speed run, which can be a help in terms of managing fatigue. Little graph here you can use to help guide players. Could add names to that if you wanted. And these are just some sample numbers from previous teams. Now, based on what tests they were doing, it'll obviously vary on the level they're at. And if you're just wondering what the MSFT is, that's a multi-stage fitness test. It's a beep test or variation of it. To give you an idea there. I honestly can't remember what the Montreal track test is right here. Anyway, that's given us our players in a list there, done by colour, and it's giving you the mass inputs for each of the 3 groups. These 3 numbers here are going to guide what we do in our next 4 weeks of running. And that's why we come down here and jump to weeks 1 to 4. So our 4 sessions, these are longer ones. We see across the top here how long we want them in distance to run per rep, how we can break that into shuttles if needs be, how long they're working for. So 180 seconds here is 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and 80 seconds. The rest, 2 minutes here, and we're saying active. Now, I don't mean jogging for that. I mean like doing some form of striking the ball, kicking the ball, something low intensity but moving. You're doing 6 sets of 1 rep, or 1 set of 6 reps, whichever way you want to call that. And that's the total distance covered. They're also going to be working at 90% intensity. On the Friday then, they're doing shorter reps. And these are the distances each group will be covering. Starting off with 3 sets of 8 reps, and that builds up. Same intensity but more reps the first 2 weeks, then drop back the reps, increase the intensity then in the 3rd week, and then it's a retest. So for example, in the first week, you want the players in the red group to cover 826 meters in 3 minutes. You can break that into a shuttle where they go from one side to the other, 92 meters apart in 20 seconds, and then return. That can be quite a monotonous session to do and tough with all the turns. You could change that instead to doing a square that's 92 meters, and they have to get around each side of the square. So each time to go around is 1 minute and 20 seconds. They have to repeat so many of those, or get around 9 different lengths. Your other day then, your shorter one, where they're working quite a bit faster, they have to cover the red group again, for example, 88 meters in 15 seconds. Complete rest then for 15 seconds, repeat. And that's just where you use your stopwatch and your whistle and set out your 2 cones. Ideally red cones, blue cones, and green cones. All players, whole squad, should be starting and finishing each rep at the exact same time, just covering slightly different distances. And that varies then over the course of the 4 weeks or 3.5 weeks till you do your retest. It's important to do a retest at this time based on where the players have come from in the few weeks previous. Some will have been tipping away, doing a nice bit, and you'll probably find when you check your tests, they're up somewhere in that red group. They might not actually have huge room for improvement when it comes to doing the first 7 sessions of run. Some of your players, say down the lower blue or in the green, they might have done absolutely nothing. 7 sessions will give them a massive boost. So after those 7 sessions, they need to recalculate where they're working. But it's also not throwing too much at them too hard, because this is based off their intensity. That's where we jump back in with a week 4 test, and we repeat that. So we just repeat all the steps again. Put in whatever, stick with the same distance, stick with the same loop, whatever the case may be. You just reorder it, and that readjusts then for your next 6 weeks of training. The next 6 weeks of training, you're not going to have many changes in fitness levels because they've done 4 weeks already. The amount of improvement you're going to do is going to slow down a bit. And you can see your next 6 weeks set out here. In again, varying different types of sessions. There's some running hard, some running slow, a few more turns thrown in, slightly longer, slightly shorter reps, whatever the case may be. Feel free to adapt these as much as is necessary. This is generally just a guide for teams to use, to give you a baseline, to show you where and what type of test to use, and then how to go on and use it. If this video has been a little bit too much of a jump ahead for you, check the one somewhere here or here that just explains what mass is, gives a brief explanation of it in 4 different stages, and helps you look through 2 sample sessions, how to calculate and all. That'll be a big help for you before you go to conduct your test and do the inputs around it. Find all the resources I talked about here just in the description below. And if there's any other bits you'd like me to dip into, give an explanation of, or how you can use it with your players, feel free to comment just below or just get in contact with me via any of the social media channels.